Hello everybody, it's me, the Real Local Maniac. I'm back again with another 8-Bit Wars. Now as you can see, today I'll be playing Rainbow Islands. Now this is the sequel to probably one of my favourite arcade games ever, which is Bubble Bobble. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the sequels in a little bit, but I'll just quickly tell you about this game. Now unlike Bubble Bobble, this time you don't play as a dragon, and it's not 2 players. You play Bub, but he's in human form. And again, as sequels go, this was pretty original actually. It didn't copy the format of the previous game, which a lot of arcade games did. It was pretty much more or less the same thing, like a carbon clone. This basically did something very different, and I admire that, you know, for them doing that. And all you have to do basically in this game is you sort of walk around from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen, and you shoot in rainbows. You use the rainbows to kill the baddies, you use the rainbows to collect objects, you use the rainbows as bridges, and look, there you go. Now, I know I made that look easy, but this game is anything but easy. The first few levels are, you know, they sort of just draw you in, and then they really crank up the difficulty level a hell of a lot, basically. Now, that's probably one of the reasons why this game actually works. It's basically the simplicity of it all. I mean, all you've got is just the joystick, a jump button, and that's it. And it's all about skill, and I think that's why this game works so well. You know, it's all about skill. You didn't need flashy graphics, you didn't need, I guess, amazing sound. Don't get me wrong, the rendition of, you know, Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz does sound pretty good. But the only downer, I'd say, is basically it does get repetitive for the music. It just keeps on repeating again and again and again and again. There we go, so I've got that. Let me have a little drink, having a bit of a sore throat here. Right, so, guys, I will be doing loads more 8-Bit Wars this month of September. I've got loads planned. I'm pretty much going to do one every day unless something comes up, you know. But I've got loads of them sort of lined up, so I'm hoping that you guys are looking forward to them. I certainly know I am. Right, you know, like before I was going on about the sequels, now on the title screen of this game it said the story of Bubble Bobble 2. Now that's where it confuses me a little bit, because on the 8-bit Nintendo there was a sequel to Bubble Bobble which was called Bubble Bobble 2. And then there's a number of sort of like story elements that change throughout the later games. So, you know what, I tend not to worry about that too much, but if one of you guys can explain it to me, that would be absolutely fantastic. And like I said, this game has ranged from everything from the Spectrum all the way to the Mega Drive. I even had this on my Sony PlayStation, the PlayStation 1. It's a great game. Alright, now it's time to play the ZX Spectrum version, and look at that, like title screen there, it's absolutely amazing, really, really colourful. Colourful sort of Rainbow Islands there, alternating with the colour. And when I first played this, I think I borrowed this off one of my neighbours. She had this on, you know, she had a Spectrum, which was kind of bizarre, you know, a girl actually having a Spectrum and playing games. And when she let me borrow this, I was so happy, you know. I think I let her borrow something really rubbish like Vigilante, so I think I got the better deal, you know. But anyway, now it's a full colour game there, and it's got a nice rendition of the arcade music. Now, unlike later versions where it does have the same music, you know, from the arcade, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, until I think they had to stop it because of copyright reasons, this basically has got it, if that made any sense what I'm saying. Now the graphics are nice and clear, it's very easy to control and, you know, shoot the rainbows there. Now fair enough, you know, the colours, you know, if he does tend to walk on a different colour like the green there, he does tend to sort of like meld in with the colour, but you know what, I think this game is an absolute achievement to have on a Spectrum because it moves so smoothly and there's so much going on at the same time. Sorry guys, just having another bit of my drink there. Not drinking beer this time, just drinking water. Right. But again, I mean, look at that. All the graphics are nicely recreated there. They're very, very similar to the arcade sprites. And once again, guys, I am going to sort of just basically judge the games the way I play it now. Not on nostalgia like the way I used to do it, you know. Now, this game still plays pretty much exactly like the arcade, and it plays pretty good to this day. And again, on the spec here, you can either play it with a keyboard or you could play it with, you know, the joystick. And I think that's the reason why it worked well. You just had to sort of push up to jump, and that was it, and shoot to to fire. But this game it's a great conversion. It's probably one of the best Spectrum conversions out there. Definitely. Now, maybe there is a little bit of slowdown sometimes when quite a lot is going on, but it doesn't really affect the gameplay that much. Now, what I like about this version, which you probably will notice on the other versions, is the playing area. The playing area is pretty big in this game. You'll find in some of the other versions the playing area is a lot smaller. And if you listen to the sound effects as well, the sound effects are very similar to the actual arcade game. So yeah, I give the Spectrum version a thumbs up. This is a great conversion. Right, now look at that. That is absolutely fantastic, that sort of loading screen there. Now this is Rainbow Islands on the good old Amstrad. Now, I thought this was absolutely amazing. It looked the part. Now, I was going on about the playing area. That's one of the things that I think lets this game down. Okay, the colours are a lot more brighter than the Spectrum, but the playing area is a lot smaller, so it's harder to see exactly what you're doing. And the graphics do have that more sort of blocky, squished feeling about them. But again, if anything, I think the music sounds a little bit better on the Amstrad actually than the Spectrum. You guys will probably disagree with me, but I do love the way this does sound on the Amstrad. And despite the squashed sort of blockiness about this game, I do love the look about it. It's got a very cartoonish sort of feel. It does look good. It plays a lot slower though than the Spectrum version. It's not. I don't think it's as fluid as well. But again, the core gameplay is still there. I think this is one of the one of my favourite conversions, pretty much on all the arcade that I played, because it converted well to pretty much the 8-bit computers. It really did. It's just, oh crap, killed myself. Well, hopefully I should be able to progress a little bit further rather than dying again. Don't know why the music keeps on stopping. Don't know whether that's because I'm emulating it or not, I'm not too sure. Oh yeah, I'd just like to correct a mistake that I made on my last 8-bit Wars, which was Barbarian. I said that Barbarian on the Amstrad actually only had one level, which was the the throne room. No, it did have all the other levels as well. I think I just had loaded up the wrong thing, so that's the reason why it didn't change. So thanks to everyone that pointed that out for me. I mean, sometimes I make mistakes, so yeah. This game's so addictive. But saying that though, it is frustrating when you get to the later levels though. Alright guys, now I'm going to do another random rambling video in maybe tomorrow actually, and that's going to be called Random Ramblings 8-Bit Wars, and that will be episode 13 of my Random Rambling series. And basically I'm going to tell you about all the 8-Bit Wars that I'll be doing, and the reason why I started doing the 8-Bit Wars. I just thought I'd go on a little bit more about it. Yeah, you know what, this is a great conversion. I give it a thumbs up as well. Well, while the little countdown goes, I'm going to have more of my water. Right, now this is at Rainbow Islands on the C64, and let's see what this is like. Now guys, remember I did have all 3 computers, and again, I've got no favoritism towards any machine, when I'm doing the 8-Bit Wars. Right, so the music is probably one of the first things that you notice that stands out. It's a nice rendition. Does sound pretty good, that. The colour scheme, again, doesn't really favour, the Commodore 64 with its sort of like very bland, faded out colour. But it moves a lot more fluid than the Amstrad. I don't think it controls as well as the Spectrum, but it certainly controls a lot better than the Amstrad version. And the graphics look a lot better, but again, the playing area is a little bit smaller than the Spectrum version. But hey, don't let that sort of stop it. It's a great game, and it does feel like the actual arcade game. And that's one of the reasons why I like doing these 8-Bit Wars. I was going to say this in my Random Rambling video, but it always amazes me, like how the programmers managed to get, like, at the time, which was like an amazing big arcade machine, and squish it into, you know, the tiny little bit, you know, 8-bit computers. You know, I find that amazing. Sorry guys, I'm just feeling really thirsty today. I'm probably still hungover from my last drinking session with Swaney and Phil, which was a few days ago. The older I get, the longer the hangover lasts, basically. Now, I'm also feeling kind of shattered. My cat's been waking me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, enough to talk about my cat. Back to the game. Yeah, I mean, all three versions basically have got the same level layout as the actual arcade game. And, you know, that's pretty good. Sometimes you found in the 8-bit wars that certain games, they cut certain parts of the arcade game, and which appeared in other parts. You know, maybe it appeared on Spectrum and then didn't appear on Commodore 64 and so on. I like the way he walks, it's funny. Right, back to it again. Shoot that crow. You know, one version I'd like to mention, actually, I'm completely off topic, guys. I want to talk about the Mega Drive version. That was a bit of a bizarre version. It's got a completely different layout. Maybe one of you guys can let me know about that as well. Right, so I'm trying to think which version am I going to go for. I'm going to slightly cheat here. I'm going to just try and get to the top of the screen as fast as I can. Basically, if you just shoot and jump, you can quickly flick through the screen like that. I wouldn't necessarily say it's cheating, but, you know, I like progressing through level by level, a little bit just like that, as opposed to just flying through the screen. Yay! Golin! Sorry guys, I'm going to have another bit of a drink here. Alright, so the Spectrum's got larger playing area. The Commodore 64's got better sound, and the Amstrad has got the most colourful thing, but the graphics look a little bit blocky and it plays a little bit slow. So I would have to say it's between the Commodore 64 and the Spectrum version. For me, it's a Specky.